I don't know why I'm introducing this because this is my story, but I will anyway. We're going to talk about Gizmodo's publication of the Facebook papers on today's slightly critical, not so critical update. Gizmodo and some of the hardworking journalists over there have sifted through thousands of papers which were published as part of the Facebook papers. And these are the first 28 documents that have been released and redacted and edited and whatever. I know I followed this a little bit because at the time, Shoshana Wardinsky, who's one of my favorite journalists in the world, was talking about it and talking about how she was going crazy, having to look through so much of this garbage. There's so much content there that was being released. It was, gigabytes of stuff. And this is the first kind of round of releases. And they've created a place to dump the papers themselves, and there's different kinds, and there's some commentary. You can actually have a look at the raw materials. And I'm really hoping that there's going to be some good follow-up investigations on this. The Gizmodo have done such hard work on this, really good stuff.
And these are the papers that Frances Haugen released, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit around the time of her testimony in Congress. What stood out to me, I don't know, in terms of what's in the papers, it was, I don't know, I guess it's another case where, like, we watched it happen in real time, so it's hard to be surprised. But at the same time, to see people finally acknowledging the truth feels shocking. So they talk a little bit about how everybody at Facebook knew what was happening.
Yeah.
with all this election fraud nonsense and the insurrection on January 6th. And they saw it happening, they saw it coming, and they saw it as it was going on. And they were freaking out and saying, oh my God, this is happening right now. And people just didn't care. It was really, again, I don't know, disappointing, surprising, unsurprising. Just almost, I feel almost desensitized to it, which is terrible.
I totally know what you mean, especially when we know what's going on. But there's these sort of executive summaries that have to happen for people who aren't embedded in this kind of shit and read about it every day. So this kind of thing, we might hear one of the Netflix specials where they do like an expose on the avocado industry or something, which people who are reading about that all day every day, they're like, oh God, avocados. Yeah, I know, it's all to do with cartels and whatever. But for us, it's totally new information that we just had no idea was going on. So
is that true about avocados, by the way?
Yeah, there's a Netflix series called Rotten where you can go and it talks about the food industry and lots of.
That's disappointing. Chipotle is like my favorite restaurant, and I always get avocado.
Don't worry, it's fine, but there are actual literal cartels and like that are controlling water sources and things in particular areas. Yeah, it's fascinating. I'm not a huge fan of the actual Netflix series because they do the whole kind of overplay it a bit. Anyway,
did you watch Bad?
The other thing is,
terrible series.
I did watch Bad Vegan. It's not. I thought that was a good version.
Oh, really?
Good. This is getting we're turning into film critics now. Oh God, amateur. We're amateur at best. Privacy and security news, guys. And now, what kind of level of film?
Wait till you hear our politics.
Oh, guys, have you got a surprises in store for you? Yeah. Anyway. Back to what we were talking about, which we might know a little bit about. One of the interesting things for me about this situation is, first of all, and this is not new stuff, it just kind of like brings it to the surface for me again, which is that inside an organization like Facebook, which has tens of thousands of employees, and lots of them are incredibly smart, of course, there's going to be people who know how horrible and evil the company is, but there's also lots of good people working there. So it's impossible that everybody. I kind of think of Facebook as this one homogenous glob of evil, and everybody associated with it is a bad person. and people who go to work for them are, oh, that's it, they've gone to the dark side kind of thing. But actually, there's a lot of people who do know what's going on there.
I think
and are trying to make it better.
There's a couple factors there. One is, I mean, they're employees, right? Their job is to hit a metric. Their job is to hit their metric for their performance review, not to do the right thing for society. As a company, they're driven by their profit motive. So there's, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, sorry. Yeah, but that's the second part of it that was kind of counter to what I was saying at the beginning, which is that it also highlights how much responsibility the leadership and the CEO in particular has for a company, because they're driven by their profit motives, but they're guided and directed by the C-suite, by the chief executives of the company. So you could have if that level of management decides to ignore conversations like that have been happening, like, oh my God, we are responsible partly for the insurrection at the capital of our country, and it's just no action is taken. It highlights how much power the people have, because again, sometimes I feel like the CEOs are just sort of figureheads. They don't really do that much. Why are they getting paid so much money? What's the, but this is the kind of effect that they can have.
Yeah, I had talked before about an interview I heard where the guy described Facebook as a Care Bear land for 98% of the employees, but for the top 2%, it's Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But I mean, are you surprised that corporations have all this power? Like, this is the least
No.
Yes, they have all this power. This is the whole problem.
Yeah. It's not surprising. That's what I meant. It's just kind of refreshes my outrage and my insight into it.
Yeah, I think like it's outrage burnout at this point.
Yeah, it really is.
The brilliance of Trump was that he just threw one controversy after the next at you. You could not, and he did all his crimes out in the open. Sorry, Mikey, I know. You could only be so outraged. You can only focus on so many things at a time, and at some point, it just becomes like normal, and you become so desensitized to it. And I think with the Facebook, the Facebook papers are.
Hang on. How did Mikey get a say in this fucking podcast, Mikey?
Because he's the one I'm going to hear about when he listens. And I love Mikey. What was I saying? I don't even know.
Voice and he's not even here. Anyway, yeah, Trump's.
He does keep me honest,
even when he's not here.
Even when he's not here. I mean, just imagine what kind of shit I would try and say without his voice in my head. You don't even know how I would go off the rails.
So Trump's outrages. It is outrage burnout, right? I totally get it. You're just like,
and with Facebook, we know they've been doing it out in the open. We know what Facebook is. There's no surprise here. It's just they're now saying like, oh, here, we wrote down that this actually is what we saw. Yeah, we all saw it. We know.
Wikipedia. It's been up since 2007 or something, and it's just endless. I don't know.
And you could look at it and say, well, like, it's a validation of reality. Hey, you're not crazy. Look, it's like, yeah, okay, but why is it value? Like, okay, we're not gaslighting you anymore. Great.
Thanks. I don't want to live in reality anymore. I don't know. I don't want to live in. That's what the best thing of augmented reality. That's going to be the killer feature of augmented reality is literally rose-tinted glasses. It will just block out any bad news. It'll identify any text, and if you had augmented reality headphones, it'll just like as soon as someone starts talking about Musk or Trump or Facebook, it's just like tinkle, tinkle, tinkle.
With my augmented reality glasses on, I would look at this headline and read it as, we're publishing the Facebook papers. Everything was fine.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. That's it. It's like muted words for Twitter, but in real life. That's going to be the killer feature, I think.
They'll just put QR codes at the top of every article, and it'll show you whatever headline you want. Yeah, oh my God, that's actually what's going to happen.
That is what's going to happen. We're going to have a sanitized version of reality. Augmented reality.
All the ads popping up. Oh, it'll be the like they show those future worlds where you're walking down the street and the ads are like projected along the building. They don't need to do anything to the buildings. It's just going to be built into your glasses.
Yeah, it'll be blank buildings.
It'll be green. Like one of those. Did you ever see those silent raves? Silent raves.
Yeah. I've been to a silent disco. Have you never?
It'll be like that with our glass. We'll all be in like this crowded world of hyper focused targeted advertising, but nobody will just look like normal people.
We've got to. I think we should. We haven't paid attention to because we talk about augmented reality, but we're only focusing on the glasses aspect. I think the voice aspect. We already have noise cancelling headphones, right? If the headphones were smart and could interpret what was being said, which we know is possible because we can have like the Babelfish automatic translation stuff going on, but it could then censor words like Trump and Musk and outrage and anything you don't want to hear. Don't say gay. Don't hear gay. Yeah, that's what could happen. It could just be filtering out the word of la. Every time someone says homosexual, it's just la la la. Hi, you're at la 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 la. Like, I think that's.
And soon we'll just not have any actual interaction with anyone. It'll just be us and our own artificial intelligence, and we'll be living exactly the lives we want.
And because everything is being tracked and a complete psychological profile has been mapped out for you and all your relations, it can just automatically, it will know what you like and what you don't like. And you won't even have to.
Now you just closed the circle on me, and it sounds like a good idea.
All the data's there already. We just need to keep tracking people a bit more. That's all we need. So I can
live in a world where my technology knows everything that I want and just gives it to me at all times.
Just a bit more data, just a little bit more data, and we're nearly there. Just track one or two more things.
Oh, perhaps, when I look in my refrigerator, the camera on my glasses can see if the things that I want are in there.
Yes.
And just order them.
And order them for you. Yeah. And it knows that you like mac and cheese. So, definitely you're going to need some more. I don't know what goes in mac and cheese. I mean, isn't it just mac and cheese and water?
Okay, so bottom line, final takeaway is fuck Facebook.
Fuck Facebook.